I'm going to do it.
This is week 1 of the bloopers.
No, I mean, I'm already just going to play week 9 from it.
Okay. So. Just don't drop it to the
I actually am, but let's go start from it.
Yes, guys!
I'll
start properly.
Okay. I'm still going to play from there, though.
I'm going to take this off, actually. No, I'm not going to keep it on. You're still going to keep it in now? You can't keep it in now.
We'll see, I guess.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the weekly roundup, week 9, where we give you the latest crypto news and obviously talk about good old XRP at the end, give you a bit of a market update in terms of what we're thinking. It's probably still the same as Bitcoin is still trading sideways. I'm obviously joined by the man himself, Crypto Insight UK.
That's me. And week 9.
Week 9.
It's actually mad to think about it.
Yeah, I know. It's obviously said it last week, over 2 months already. It's gone quick. It doesn't feel like actually we're doing it for 9 weeks.
Nah, not at all.
Honestly, it doesn't. It feels like we're doing it for a month. But big news again this week. A lot's happened.
It's been mad, actually.
A lot's happened, especially the past couple of days. Especially with XRP.
I feel like every week I come on and say, like, oh, it's been a big week.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm becoming a lot more conscious about the news, obviously, to get content for this, but obviously you do it week in, week out. But so you saying that, I guess, kind of invalidates that. But
this week's been big, definitely.
Specifically for, in my opinion, again, for XRP, because of the conference which we're going to obviously speak about.
Yep.
But other from that, we've got other big news coming from other things. Starting with Citadel, Charles Schwab, Fidelity join forces to build cryptocurrency trading platform. We keep seeing
we knew
stuff
this
like
was
this.
coming,
I know,
bro.
we keep seeing stuff like this. More companies wanting a piece of the pie, getting in early before all the everyone else trying to pile in, trying to establish their brands, establish their names out there. Again, you could see it coming a mile off. Again,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You know it's coming. Legacy finance coming through. They want their piece of the pie. They're not going to let this asset class isn't going to explode much higher without legacy finance coming in. Just because they literally want a cut of it. Why wouldn't they? They control all the money. If this is where a new asset class where money is going to flow through, then they're going to be involved. Like, if you want to see JP Morgan and the likes of them, who else are we looking for? Obviously, we've got Citadel, Charles Schwab. We're going to talk about Grayscale in a minute. They're quite a big asset manager. You're going to see probably BlackRock got their hands in loads of pies. Their space isn't going to move forward without them.
No, it's not. And they're all starting to creep in, slowly, week in, week out. We're reporting.
Yeah.
This company are getting involved. This company is getting involved. Yeah. And this week we've got 3 big names. Not just they're not just small companies. These are massive names within the space.
Last week we had JP Morgan with Singapore Central Bank.
Yeah.
And this week it's Citadel, Charles Schwab, and Fidelity.
Cryptocurrency trading platform. That'll be pretty. I'm excited to see that. To be fair, in terms of when they're rolling out, I'm guessing it'll be fairly soon because they want to get the ball rolling. They don't want to miss out. Like I said, time is money for these guys right now.
Well, they're already like stacked at their reserves. I'm sure.
Yeah,
they already have all their reserves.
What I mean. They've been buying all these dips, all these capitulation kind of phases in the market, haven't they? Let's be honest. Whether they declare it or not, but this is obviously what they're trying to prepare for. Trying to build some sort of reserves for people to trade on their platform.
Yeah, completely.
So yeah, massive news. It's good to see it again. And then there's this other big news. We spoke about this, I can't remember what week it was, fairly recently. I think the VP came out and said PayPal are actively exploring cryptocurrency and they're going to try and integrate it in any opportunity that they get.
Yeah.
And boom, this comes out a few weeks later that PayPal is finally allowing users to move their cryptocurrency to other wallets.
Yeah.
So before they were just allowing people to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, I think it was. Now you can literally send your crypto into a wallet. Basically an exchange. This is what we're kind of speaking about off air a bit. Are PayPal starting the steps of making their own exchange?
Yeah, like I've not actually used this before. Have you used PayPal?
I've not used it. I've seen it.
I am interested in just having just using it just to see what the process is like, what the fees are like, that sort of thing. But I haven't even opened the app. So like I've obviously opened PayPal before, but like I haven't even looked at the crypto exchange part.
I've seen it on the app, but I've never dove into it because I've just got no reason to do it. But this gives more people more reason to do so. Sure. I think that's why I've done it. Obviously they knew they had that buying feature in for a while now. I think they knew they were missing this kind of piece to the puzzle in terms of getting more people involved, using the app, using the the services that they offer in terms of crypto.
Yeah, obviously, like PayPal, huge company, and like massively trusted inside the like retail payment space. Like everyone trusts PayPal. They've got good customer service in terms of like if you have an issue, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of trust there from like the general retail investor. So this is obviously providing them another platform to get access to crypto, but then also be able to send that out to a hardware wallet should they.
Exactly.
Should they want
this is what we were speaking about a few weeks ago. I think it's about trust in terms of getting that mass adoption into crypto. You need to get that trust established first, whether it comes to regulation. But
it's got to be easy as well.
Another thing is if a big company like PayPal, like you said, pretty much everyone uses it. A lot of people use it.
Everyone's got PayPal.
Do you know, everyone's our age specifically, but like even the older generation, they would have heard of PayPal.
Yeah, like my mum uses PayPal.
Exactly.
She
they see it
bank.
when you buy something online. From whether you're buying clothes or something, PayPal's always there as an option. Yeah. It's a staple name there. So I'm happy to see PayPal be one of those front runners. Definitely, I'm honestly buzzing to see their name come in week in, week out.
Yeah, I'm
positive news coming out. Now they're bringing this. It's good to see.
I feel like mass adoption of the retail investor is huge. The two things you need, like we were just saying, is like trust and then like ease of use. And literally, looking at it looks pretty easy. Like if they can show it in four like screenshots, then. Yeah. Anyone can surely do that.
PayPal are good at that. They are good at making their apps user friendly in terms of getting, because they know where the money is. The elder generation held the majority of the capital, so they need to make their app suitable for them.
Yeah.
Not being disrespectful, but you know what I mean. They need to make it user easy, even for us.
Like my mum, who doesn't, like I said, like doesn't online bank. She has PayPal. She uses PayPal for like.
That's crazy.
Things
that is actually crazy because I obviously know your mum personally as well. It's crazy to see that she's using PayPal as well.
It's crazy she doesn't have an online bank.
Yeah,
I don't blame her anyway for the banks.
The gap's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
gap is mad, but no, it's good. It is good to see that, honestly. But
this one's a good one. I actually really enjoyed this treat game out yesterday.
Yeah,
the day before yesterday.
This has been simmering now. Obviously, we spoke about it a few weeks. In one of our first episodes, we spoke about it. How they want to bring in the spot ETF. Hopefully, in July, they were talking about filing it. And if it was to get rejected, they were going to potentially sue the SEC. And right here, we can kind of see. Look, they've got applications to get people on board. Ready for.
I think they've already got him. I think that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that like they've got a specialist in like, I don't know, some solicitor.
That's crazy.
And they're basically the thing that's like maybe like laugh about it is like they're flexing it like public to the SEC.
Yeah.
Like look at the people that we've got like in our team. If you scroll down, like this is the guy, and I think they say like. Let's have a look. He's one of the nation's most experienced attorneys with a deep understanding of legal theory, administrative procedure, and the practical matters of working with the judiciary branch. And they're just flexing who he is and that. Like, why else would they tweet that? It's had like how many retweets? Grayscale like 500,000 followers on Twitter. They're openly doing this to call out the SEC.
Yeah, I mean
before the decision's even made. Is this even legal? Is that legal?
I think it is.
It's like, if you don't do what we're telling you to do, we're going to sue you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, you know what? I think they can do what they want against the SEC.
Yeah, I'm not protecting the SEC.
I know, just considering what they've done, I think they're just kind of, like they're flexing their muscles a bit in terms of saying, look, we've got this, we've got these people under our like company. If you want to go there, we're happy to battle this out. And again, this is good to see because everyone knows our views on the SEC in terms of the way they handle themselves. And Grayscale are no joke. No, they're not just any small company. They're a huge company. Like you said, they've hired this specialist guy who's gonna lead the way in terms of like the law. If this potential lawsuit happens, who knows what's gonna happen? But
yeah, but it's even better because they're basically like saying to the SEC, they're like, look, we've been asking for ETF for ages. So have loads of people in the market. You're not telling us why we wouldn't get one or whatever. And then our last deadline for this application is this July. I think it's like a month away. I think that's what it says in this. And then they're like, so if you don't approve this, we're going to file a lawsuit against you, and these are our lawyers.
Yeah.
Like straight out, like on the internet, bro, like for everyone to see. Yeah. That's hard.
I know, because obviously they intentionally want the SEC to see this, and I'm sure they have obviously been made aware of this probably before they tweet this. They probably knew anyway. But it's just, to me, they're flexing. They're ready for it. Whether it happens, I guess time will tell. We'll have to see what happens with the spot ETF application and see if that gets
surely it's got to go through.
I don't know. They're almost trying to back in SEC into the corner a bit here in terms of like, because they've got a lot on their plate at the moment.
Yeah, they have.
Not just Ripple, but they've got a lot going on
People are leaving to Gensler. We haven't talked. I don't have that to talk about, do we? But more people left this week.
There's more people. But we did speak about it last week, but
they're under pressure.
They're crumbling.
They're under
crumbling.
pressure.
I was gonna say it's hard to watch, but it's not because
it's awkward to watch, man. Like you're watching it and you're thinking, God's sake, like why is nothing happening? Why are we as retail investors the only people like noticing it? I don't get it. I don't get why someone isn't just coming in over the top being like, look, this is actually ridiculous now. Like, even when they go and speak to Congress, I know that even some aspects in Congress are not going to agree with everybody, but it seems to be that the majority of people, even above them, are just like, oh, the SEC, they are. Like, they almost look at them like, they are a bit shady or they are a bit bad. And it's like, this is like a branch of your government who are in charge of like enforcement and regulation, and everyone just sort of lets them do what they want to do.
It just screams corruption. Like even to the top tier, like surely they would have done something by now. They've come under so much flack. Obviously, we've reported on so much news articles how I can't remember who it was. They're coming after them in terms of like I can't remember the name of them.
Library.
Yes, but like obviously the top boys, they can see this happening. They know what's going on, but they're not doing anything about it. In terms of why, who knows? Maybe they will sort it out. They know it's just going to be something which will get sorted out in the future, maybe.
But I didn't really get the ETF one, though, because like quite a lot of the big boys have applied for an ETF, and they just reject everyone.
Yeah, well, like I said, they keep coming out and say that they're looking for more consumer protection. But
and then don't release it.
They don't really provide any information in terms of how people can achieve that. I think they're just delaying it. They're putting it off until this framework's probably going to come out and end of this year, hopefully. But say if they do apply in July, how long do the SEC have?
No, they've applied.
Oh, so they've applied. That's the deadline?
That's the last deadline it can be. So when July comes round, we're going to find out in like a month what's going on. Wow. I'd like to see the day when the SEC like accepts or rejects. If they reject it, I'd love to see Grayscale come straight in with some fat lawsuit.
They're ready.
Surely you can put some big like potential loss of earnings on there, like huge amounts. Yeah. Like I'm talking like billions. Because if you think they can probably take into calculation like what the Canadian ETFs and stuff are saying, and then times that by the equity markets in the UK, and then be like, look, you're causing us loss of earnings of like flipping 100 billion a year or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
You're not providing us with any reasonable like reasons in terms of why you say no. Yeah.
Dropping 100 billion lawsuit on the SEC, that'd be jokes.
SEC run out of money.
Crumble. SEC like, hands up, guys. We're out. Can someone sub in?
Oh, they're going to run out of funds soon. They are. Yeah. Everyone's after them, aren't they? But moving away from America, we'll go to a more crypto-friendly nation, the good old UK.
Here we go,
where we reside. Again, quite public news now that the UK are quite crypto-friendly. We're not quite very crypto-friendly.
Trying to be, anyway.
We're trying to be, doing the best they can in terms of where we are in the current time frame of regulation, all that. But UK to test blockchain technology in traditional market activities. So they're just talking about using blockchain technology for activities such as trading and settlement of stocks and bonds. Plans to take place next year.
Which is mad. That's not far away.
Halfway through this year.
You're going to have to start seeing testing come. You'll see like... If they're looking like at final settlements by next year, you're going to start seeing some announcements of who they're working with specifically very soon. Actually, to write an article for one of my clients talking about this DLT technology, and that Ripple were the first DLT company to test with the Bank of England. It goes way back to like 2016. You can see it on the Bank of England website. So it's a fair speculation that they could be working with Ripple, obviously part of the Digital Pound Foundation as well. We know the contacts are there. Whether they are or aren't, like they've got to work with the blockchain at some point. Like if they're settling on DLT. They've got to be using the DLT. I doubt they're building their own network. Very highly doubt that, because there's no way of them settling that anyway across the chain. So, and they don't have that experience. So let's see. I mean, it's interesting times.
It's speculation, but for us it's a bit of an educated guess. Like we spoke about this on numerous weeks of this. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's kind of there but it's not there yet. We will find out in terms of who they are actually working with. But nonetheless, it's. They're coming out and saying we're about crypto, we're about using the technology, we're up for trying this.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's good to see a big nation, like we said over the past few weeks. If you put UK up there and put US up there, and you can just see how different their approach is in terms of the adoption of crypto. their willingness to take it on and try it. It's crazy to me how there's just such a big disparity there. And
yeah, I agree. And like I saw actually just before we started talking, I'll get this podcast ready. Matt Hancock did another interview, like a podcast, and he was basically saying that we're behind France in terms of crypto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that, and like he was like joking about Macron, and he was basically saying like, he was saying that we were ahead, like as in the UK, for so many like financial booms, like swaps, all this sort of stuff. We would have been like the financial hub, and then in the last like few months, Paris have taken the centre stage because someone went, because Binance, this is the example that he said, because Binance set up their head office in Europe, in Paris.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? This is his words, not mine. We want to let Macron take it and not us. And then he's like, this is happening, guys, so you need to switch on, basically, is what he's saying to the UK people to, like, say, get crypto here because it's the next stage of like financial evolution.
Yeah, so that's crazy to think about. Obviously, UK are being quite proactive, but even they still think they're behind. So it's good to see that at least our nations kind of like, do you know what I mean? They're conscious about falling behind, whereas the US are a bit like, we're just gonna try and get as much money out of sue this company before we can just, because maybe they know they can just jump in and become like one of the biggest. Who knows what?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what's going on? They've got to have a plan though. Like,
this is what I keep thinking. Like, surely they're not doing all of this, falling behind on purpose. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to do that. They've obviously been this absolute powerhouse in the financial sector. They're not just going to give it up in a split second. But maybe it's out of their control. Who knows what will happen in terms of who gets that. But on the back of that,
this came out today. Yep. We won't touch on it too much because I'm actually going to make some videos on it. But it's just talking about like a CBDC in the UK. Saying the key takeaways, they just talk about like risks and like potential positives of it. The key takeaway is that they're saying that it'd be the back end of the decade if they release one, but like they are gonna, like in my opinion, they're gonna release one. You don't make all this like all these documents or something you're not gonna release.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that goes in sort like within my timeline of what we've been talking about for a while. I think back end, like as in wholesale, they'll have a CBDC that comes out a lot sooner. I actually think we'll have one before 2025, like a back end CBDC to trade across borders and to do like interbank trading.
Yeah.
But as far as the retail CBDC goes, we don't really need one like to rush out, because what I think will happen is commercial banks will start to have their own stable coins and they'll keep all their reserves like to back the stable coin in the central bank, and the central bank will basically just operate as a central bank should operate anywhere it has been. So that's why I think that we don't really need retail CBDC from the central bank straight away, because it would just get rid of all the commercial banks. Like, why would you have the need for a commercial bank if the money just came straight from a central bank and they could offer you everything that commercial banks could?
Yeah, that's the big argument, isn't it? It just kind of nullifies the need of that. So
I think that's why everyone's rushing through stablecoin regulation though. Like, all this stablecoin regulation is like massively in the centre of like the public eye, and they're like, look, get stablecoin regulation out. Like, they want all this to come out, because I think commercial banks are going to bring out their own stablecoins and they'll have to keep their reserves somewhere, and I presume it'll be in the central banks. So
yeah, I agree. I think that will happen first before an actual CBDC comes out.
So you'd be spending like Lloyd's pounds or like NatWest pounds or whatever.
That's mad to think about.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, arguably, outside of XRP is probably one of the biggest topics. I'm sure you guys have probably read something about it or heard of something about it, and it's about this crypto bill, which is obviously it's a draft. It's not been obviously approved yet, but it's Kristen Gillibrand and Loomis, two senators on opposite parties, right?
Yeah,
they've come together and they've kind of drafted up. They've worked with a lot of other Bitcoin maxis such as Saylor, and obviously Loomis is a Bitcoin maxi herself. So there was a lot of like fear going into it in terms of what was going to be involved in this, whether it was going to be completely focused on Bitcoin, and they were just going to absolutely kind of like ignore altcoins. And for us being big altcoin holders, it's a bit worrying, but overall bullish.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad, to be honest.
Looks alright. Obviously, it's not. There's a lot of information in it, and there's talk about tax. But the big takeaway for me, and I think a lot of people, is that they really are being proactive in terms of distinguishing what's a security, what's a commodity.
Trying
to. They're making that first initial steps to separating those two things, and like obviously saying the CFTC would take control of commodities, and then obviously the SEC will take control of securities.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like they're starting this because they don't want things to happen like with what's happening with Ripple and SEC in the future anyway. They don't want they don't want that,
don't want to completely crush
that narrative to carry on and going on in the future, and then people getting sued left, right, and centre, stopping the growth of the industry. Do you know what I mean? It's good to see that they're starting to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And making.
Yeah, it's a really good first step, and like the bill's flipping along. Like they spent a lot of time on it, and they spoke to a lot of people. So like props to them. Like fair enough. Like not anyone else is coming out and doing this. So Loomis is from Wyoming, and Gillibrand is from the centre of New York. And like my key takeaways to this are that, like Pav said, they are trying to move securities and commodities to make them like to be more obvious switches. Which what I basically identified from the article is that ETH and Bitcoin are commodities. They're at CFTC. Then about the top 20-ish cryptos are like ancillary assets, which are overseen by the CFTC but still have to file the SEC like twice a year. And then everything else outside of that basically has to go through the SEC.
Right, okay.
So that's like, it's all right.
Start,
like
bro.
it does mean we do need more consumer protection, because at the minute like a shitcoin is being pumped out every day. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that has to be killed off, like in some way. Like I think that, I know it kind of crushes innovation a bit, but you have too many bad actors that can come into the space if they want to. So if you've got a good idea and you've got innovation, you can still find funding. Loads of people want to fund crypto. So if you want to say like, okay, you've got to come in, but you've got to do it the right way through the SEC, I don't think there's really a problem to that, as long as framework comes out. And if this is the framework that it's going to be, they're like, oh, you have to file this, this, and this through the SEC, then I think great, then that's how it works. Yeah. And I also, some other key facts, like it says there, is that purchases under $200 are tax-free, which I think is good. And it also says that like mining and staking, any rewards that you earn, you don't pay anything on until you spend the asset. So again, that makes it a lot easier for everybody to work out what's actually going on and what they have to do in terms of tax filings and stuff. Because that's one of our biggest concerns, even in the UK. Like I don't flipping really know what they want me to do and what not to do.
That's what I mean. It stops people from getting involved, and like we touched on earlier on, it's another step in terms of getting it mass adopted, in terms of like just generally the general person getting involved in crypto, because I guess they know what's going on with it. They know what the crack is in terms of tax, which is obviously one of the main things that a lot of people worry about when they're starting to trade, making money on certain things. They obviously don't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah, and look, if purchases under $200 aren't being taxed, then a lot of people are going to use it as a payment asset as well. Yeah, like why would that be? It wouldn't be a problem then. So I think well done.
That's good. Let's just see what comes. It's a good start.
It's going to take a lot.
Yeah, this is what I mean. We'll have to see what comes off the back of that, I'm sure. But it's good to see that they're not just kind of sitting in one room, all these senators, and making their own kind of rule, but they're asking people who are quite like knowledgeable within the space, and people who have experience within the cryptocurrency like market. Yeah. Because it is for them to just kind of get involved and do it themselves. It just kind of centralises it a bit, and I don't think people will like that. But if they're making legislation, getting opinions from various sources, it's good news in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. They're not just slamming their door on crypto just to get Bitcoin through the door or whatever. So I think that's good.
It's good. But like I said, we'll have to see what comes on the back of this. But this
is a weird one.
This is a weird one. We're just kind of use it into a transition into XRP because it does kind of link into it. But so Flare are basically partnering with Fireblocks HQ.
Yeah, Flare Finance. So Flare Finance is like a financial asset built on Flare Networks, on Songbird at the minute, but it's going to go to Flare Networks as well.
And how's that linked with XRP then?
So Flare is like, when Flare launches, that is actually built on the XRPL. So Flare Networks is built on top of the XRPL, and it's just going to be like an asset that links the XRP ledger to other ledgers. Yeah. It gives like the XRP ledger the ability to, and that makes smart contracts. You can link it through like Ethereum, but also like solves the like Oracle problem. So it also like settles transactions through like time series oracles as well. So
plays a big part.
Yeah, it could be huge. Like I'm really excited about Flare in general, but it's one of the first like applications built on top of it, basically.
Yeah. So, but the funny thing is, obviously, Fireblocks HQ have this gentleman called Jay Clayton working under their company. And for those who don't know, Jay Clayton was the guy who basically filed the lawsuit against Ripple and then quit the next day. So obviously he was basically chair of the SEC, where Gensler is now. And then now he's working for a company who's partnered up with Flare Finance, who have got strong ties with Ripple in terms of building their their whole kind of thing on top of it on
That's
XRPL.
it's blooming ridiculous. Like I don't really understand how it's possible.
Yeah, we're just bringing it up. We're not not diving too much into it.
It pisses me off,
it's
bro.
a bit
Like,
weird
I'm not
because
gonna lie.
it just kind of it's another reason it shows like Jay Clayton's got enough. Surely if Jay Clayton was so. If he didn't like XRP, he kind of was the guy behind the whole suit.
Well, he at least voted to say that the suit should be dropped on XRP and Ripple, and he's still building on the XRP ledger.
This is what I mean. So like now he's getting involved in it. It just kind of it shows what's going on.
It
asks the question again, really contradictory. Shows a lot of corruption potentially behind the scenes. But yeah,
I'm watching you, Jay.
We're watching.
If you're watching me, I'm watching you. Don't worry about that.
We're watching all of you there at the SEC. Something fishy's going on over there. But brings us nicely into the Ripple versus SEC again. So when was it now? Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday night. I think it was. We had the opportunity to call in. We didn't actually get onto the call, so we had to kind of listen to people's tweets who got onto the call. Basically, the face-to-face conference between Ripple and SEC. We had George Netburn, I think it was, chairing it, and she was basically just. This whole thing was about him and emails. Mm-hmm. She just kind of wants to get the SEC's actual opinion because they've been going back and forth in terms of whether it's client privilege or whatever they're saying. They keep delaying it. She just wanted to kind of get them both down face to face and kind of make some steps in terms of getting these emails potentially released. Mm-hmm. And as Jeremy Hogan, who's an absolute don, by the way, great YouTube channel. Check him out. Hogan. Yeah, what a guy. Made a really funny YouTube video. It kind of says, you don't need a law degree to know how the court hearing went. Mm-hmm. Basically insinuating that it didn't really go well for the SEC. And if you kind of if you watch his video, go check Jeremy Hogan's video out. At the end, he makes a couple of really interesting points in terms of how the SEC lawyer kind of just made a couple blunders, I'd say.
Yeah.
In terms of her word and the way she worded her answers to a couple of questions that Netburn kind of presented to her.
Yeah, well, I think the whole point is that the SEC have been going backwards and forwards all the time, and that even in the trial, she basically said, "You've been going backwards and forwards, but when it suits you, like you say, it's a personal opinion when it suits you, and you say it's like advice, like as in like structure and regulation for the market when it suits you." At the start of the call, I'm pretty sure she was saying that the attorney said it was his personal opinion. At the end of the call, Judge Netburn straight up asked her, is that is it official guidance from the SEC? And the attorney answered yes.
Yeah,
so it's like she said both even
going back and so it just kind of shows like Hogan was he was kind of basically saying the lawyer for the SEC was kind of just thrown in the deep end a bit, okay, you just deal with it. Good luck, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like he made some good analogies on his YouTube video. It was quite funny to watch, but it literally that's what it was.
Yeah,
they obviously they didn't have many legs to stand on in terms of like answering her questions. They knew how it was going to go, in my opinion, and they just kind of said, "Look, do the best as you can to delay it a bit more." That's how I
this attorney's first appearance in court, and she was new to the SEC.
So that's number one. That's really harsh. It's harsh on her.
There's like two views on it. It's like one is like they already know they're going to lose that. That's part of the case. So give her a chance to go and speak in court, or they're like the bigger lawyers just passing the loss off onto like someone newer.
They don't want to be embarrassed because they know exactly where this conversation will go. It's like, whether you're on the SEC, even if you're on the SEC side, you kind of exactly know. Okay, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? There's no chance I would do that.
Straight out of grad school,
I guarantee you. I honestly think they kind of pick names out of hat and okay, I'm sorry, you drew the short straw. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah,
it's a big win for Ripple.
After this, what we're looking at now is. John Deaton, I watched his live stream straight after the hearing. They do have they're doing a live stream in a few days' time. Like John Deaton, attorney Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, and all these boys are doing a live stream together. Deaton said, "If we get a decision from the judge, that is when we're most likely to see a settlement. Like if we get the decision we want, basically saying that they need to hand the emails over." The SEC are likely to appeal that decision. It will go to Judge Torres, but because now they've been to court and they've got everything recorded, in person, that is the law now. They've said that they can't go back on it. They can't really appeal because Judge Netburn will be like, well, literally you said this in court. Yeah. So Judge Torres will just be like, yeah, I agree with Netburn because she did all the right steps. There's nothing to appeal here. You've been going backwards and forwards. Her decision stands. Your appeal was hopefully this is what happens anyway. Your appeal was denied, and we should see this decision from the first step of the decision. So, what Judge Netburn thinks on this key issue within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, finally, we're getting to the point where a decision has to be made on it. Like Deaton said, if they do have to turn over their emails and they say, look, you have to do it, that's a really high chance we're going to see a settlement, because the likelihood of, say, something bad is in those emails, which obviously we're under the assumption that there is. The SEC obviously don't want that to become public. They don't want the public knowledge. They don't want people to see that in writing, because it just tarnishes their name a lot more, and it just doesn't look good on a body which is supposed to be overlooking and be that regulator.
Himmon's opinion is, I mean, is it him? No, we're not talking about him. We're talking about John Deaton. We're saying his opinion is that those emails will never see the light of day.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
I think he's right with that.
I think he is as well, because if they've been trying to get out of giving these emails over for a year, bear in mind that August of last year was when they should have been turned over to Ripple.
That's ridiculous.
So for a year they've been trying to hide these emails.
Yeah.
There's got to be something in there.
100%.
There's got to be something in there.
They've hid that for 12 months, or almost 12 months coming up to it now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing bad in there.
Yeah, exactly. And the judge has seen them, by the way.
This is what I mean. And I guess obviously I don't know too much about law, but the fact that the judge has seen them and the case is still going, obviously they have to give them like permission to kind of become public. I guess that's how it works, or for Ripple to see them in the first place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the judge had seen them and they weren't like important to the case, then she'd just be like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah,
she's obviously seen something. Even if they don't specifically say XRP, there might be something in there which insinuates something which will help Ripple, basically. So that's why it's relevant, and that's why they're still arguing back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why the SEC are delaying. But this delay looks, well, hopefully, touch wood, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of getting these emails. I've said this for weeks now. Let's see how many weeks this kind of drags out for more, but we can kind of see
we'll be old and grey.
Yeah, I know, that's what it honestly feels like at the moment, but it looks like we're finally there in terms of getting them. And if they do get released, I can't wait to see them, just to see why they've been hiding.
They won't get released. We ain't never going to see that. We're never going to see that. We'll see a settlement, I think my personal prediction on the lawsuit is we see a settlement. Like, let's say this takes 2 weeks, which is, I always think, worst case with this case. So that's like mid to end of June. And then that'll get appealed. Let's say that takes 4 weeks, so that's 6 weeks from now. We should start to see a secondary decision, maybe, let's say 8 weeks, because I don't know how the legal system works, but let's say 8 weeks from now, I think we see a decision from Judge Netburn on the appeal, if the SEC appeal, which I think they would. So within 8 weeks, I think we could see, like, it's fair to presume that we might see a settlement in that time, or depending on how long, like, let's say she says, oh, you had to turn them over within this many days, then we could, let's say it's 30 days or 60 days, let's say another 30 days on top of that, so it could be like 10 to 12 weeks, and then within that time frame is when we're going to see, if we're going to see a settlement, that's when it's coming.
Yeah, it's close. Finally feel like we're getting there. Finally.
Yeah, so that's about, we're going to look at the charts. We haven't got it open.
Yeah, we haven't got it open, but
just go for a quick trading view.
Trading view thing in that. Oh, straight on the XRP chart. Lovely.
Of course.
But nothing's really changed, guys.
We've still going sideways. We are going in sideways, like, so tight. Check that, bro.
I'm trying to navigate your computer. I'm not used to this. Obviously, you don't need to even look at XRP. It's happening in Bitcoin. It's happening everywhere. In terms of what's going to happen, who knows? Who knows what's going on? DXY is doing really well today, which is not good to see. 0.6% up, which is a lot for the DXY.
Yeah,
you can see that's a big green candle for it. Is it going to go to test the highs? Is it going to go potentially? Is that going to lead to a bit of open a door for a capitulation event for the whole crypto market potentially? Just be ready for it. Be ready for that narrative, like we've been saying.
It's a hard one. Like, we've been talking about this off camera. It's like, sentimentally, it's hard because when you're heading down in price, all you're looking for is lower price targets.
Yeah, agreed.
And every time you find a lower price target, you look for a lower one, because the whole market's telling you all the time that it's going down. Excuse me. There's so much like bearishness in the market at the minute, which in history has been assigned to say, look, a reversal's on the way.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of things that could indicate that the bottom is on the way or close, or we'll even hit it. We've even hit it, but we don't know that yet. So think the same, just like that what we've been saying the last few weeks. Keep some cash on the side just in case.
Yeah.
And hodl strong.
Yeah.
We're here with you. Like, my positions. I'm like, I don't actually have any. I've got a little bit of cash coming in, but I don't have any cash on the side at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm massively exposed. Like, I just keep buying more and more because I think this price is like insane. 40 cents for XRP. Cheers. Yeah. I'll take that all day long.
That's what I mean. We said it last week. We said the week before. We said it the week before, and I'll keep saying it. Like, the best strategy to do is to dollar cost average in this with what's going on in this situation, whether there's a new low coming potentially, are we going to revisit the lows of Bitcoin potentially? But the more the weeks go on, the less lower price. I think it's going to come out as terrible English, but because
less far down.
Yeah, less far down. I think it's going to go. Like now, I'm under the assumption that it's like potentially if we do wick down on Bitcoin, we do see this capitulation event. I can't see it. I've said this before, and hopefully they eat my words, but I don't think it will go too much lower than the lows we saw.
Yeah, like 25, 24.
Yeah, I don't
think 22.
I think 22 potential bottom. If we do see a wick down to 20 because everyone's labelling 20 as the bottom.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think people get that though. Like if there are people manipulating this market and everyone's calling for like 20k or 19k, like top of like the old run. Like, do the whales let that happen?
No,
I don't think so.
This is what I mean. The whales always win.
Yeah,
they do always win. Like, and I don't know whether we've touched on it on the podcast, but I know I've said it to you off camera for sure. People like us aren't meant to win in this situation. No. That's why we dollar cost average.
Yeah.
In terms of finding the bottom, we don't get to make the big bucks. They get to make the big bucks. And that's just how it is. Like, I don't care what you say. That's just how it is.
And like, I want to just address something. And there's obviously nothing we say is financial advice, but like, I get this question a lot. Oh, should I sell my XRP now and like sell all of it now and buy it back at a lower price? It's like, well, wouldn't everyone just do that if we knew that a lower price was definitely coming?
Exactly.
It's a ridiculous risk to take, in my opinion, at this price, to be trying to find an extra 10-20% when you could be missing out. Like, if we do run, there's nothing to say that we couldn't just start ripping tomorrow and not turn around. There's nothing to say that. We're in a crypto space where this is a technology that hasn't yet been adopted. It's all speculation. You start to see some adoption come through, which could happen at any point. We see articles every day, but let's say anyone could come through and be like, look, we're using the XRP ledger for this. And then the price will just go. And it won't come back to these lows, and you'll be caught like holding nothing. And that's where the problem arises. And it's easy to say, like using TA right now, that, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And people could have complete conviction. And they look right so long as they are right. But as soon as someone's wrong, they won't like be like, oh yeah, I was wrong. Like, I'd rather be wrong calling a top than calling a bottom, because at least then, like, if you hold long term, you're going to be a winner in this space.
100%. But
if you sell, you're literally like gambling that you may never get back in at like the same sort of price that you sold at. So that's always been my logic, and this is actually highlighted by Raoul Powell did an interview the other day, I've just talked to you about before.
Yeah.
And he's talking about equities when he says this, and he's talking about tech stocks, and he's like, well, I think there's going to be a capitulation event within the next few weeks, and that's talking about like now. So within like now, for the next 5 or 6 weeks, he thinks there'll be a capitulation event. But then what actually he goes on to say is, and he says in that, it could be like 20, 30, 40%, like real sharp, and then out.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say, I've been dollar cost averaging for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I've only got about 2 weeks left. So he's not even trying to time the bottom. This is like one of the best global macro investors in the world. So if he's not trying to time a bottom, he's just dollar cost averaging, thinking, I know he's talking about tech stocks, but he relates that obviously to Bitcoin and crypto as well. And he said like almost 100% of his liquid net worth is in crypto.
Crazy.
So if he's doing like dollar cost averaging, even though he's got all these tools, and he literally puts like projections out there that most people basically pawn off as their own opinion after he said it anyway.
Yeah, literally.
And he's not trying to time a bottom, then like what makes us think that we can? We don't have the financial tools that we've got. I certainly don't have the experience he's got in the market. But I do see that there's a future in this asset class, and I do think long term it's going to go up in price. So I'm not going to sit here and try and time a bottom, and that's why I never have done that.
Yeah, and the reason I've rewinded the XRP chart back to April 21 is just because I just wanted to highlight what you were saying there. Like, if we do reverse and we do start exploding, like, which I'm not saying it's obviously going to happen, but the point we're trying to make is this run up here happened in the space of a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever. It just shows what can happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen like this next week. I'm just putting it out there that
it's possible.
If it does, it's happened in the past. Everyone uses fractals to trying to gauge the direction where the market's going. Okay, well then why don't you use fractals or previous data to explain this?
It's possible,
how fast the market can move.
Yeah, literally.
Crypto's known for like being so volatile. Who's to say it's not just going to shoot up like that again?
Yeah, exactly. So like even if you just said like even if you take any time frame, like you could take this area here, you could take this area here, you could take this area even here, like you could be like, oh look, in the space of this amount of time, at this period, you moved like 90%. In this period, you move like what 100, 200, 237% in 10 days. Like And then, do you want to be the guy? And this isn't me telling you to buy either. It's just like something to play into your head when everyone in Twitter, crypto Twitter, and the crypto world is just screaming bear market and we're coming lower. It's like, do you want to be the guy who's missed out on a 237% move because you're trying to make an extra 10% on your back?
No, exactly. You'd be kicking yourself, and like the reason why you see these candles, sorry, is because like people FOMO in. So once they see like certain like supports or resistances being broken, certain market structure, they will kind of be like, okay, no, that's it can't go down now. We'll buy into it. So then everyone will start doing that, and that's when you start seeing days after this, days after that, where you'll see these green candles.
And like this time won't be different in terms of that. Like if we have an upward surge and we do break some key resistances, people will FOMO in.
It'll be quick.
People will FOMO in, and how high we go, don't know, but that will happen again. Like that always repeats because it's human emotion, human psychology. It happens over and over again. You can just go back through all the charts, like all the crypto charts, especially smaller caps. XRP specifically is a great example of it. When it moves, it just absolutely rips, and then it retraces and goes sideways for ages, and then it rips, and it retraces and goes sideways for ages. And I don't want to miss out on a rip, so I'm definitely not selling.
I'll leave you with the saying that a lot of intelligent investors say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So obviously, I'm not saying it's going to go up in 10 days because it's going to go up 230, but it's along those lines. It's going to be a quick, volatile move. Like if you want to miss that, then to try and time the bottom, fair enough. That's the risk you've got to take. You might get, obviously, like we're saying, Ralph was saying, potentially there's a capitulation event. There might be lower prices. Yes, there might be, but do you want to take that risk?
Even he's not taking that risk, even though he's saying that it's coming. He's not taking the risk.
I'm not taking that risk. Will's not taking that risk, and we tell a lot of people not to take that risk. Like, obviously, we could be sitting here in the next week's roundup or the week after, and Bitcoin could be at low 20s. And we could say, okay, fair enough. Like we did say that
it could happen for months.
Exactly. You don't know what's going to happen. That's the main point. No one knows what's going to happen.
That's the thing. So you need to
position yourself.
Yeah, position yourself. And like the point that I was just trying to make, and that we're trying to make, I don't know if we've got away from it or not. It's just that it doesn't make sense, percentage-wise, risk to reward, to sell out now and try and buy again.
No way.
If you're going to do something like that, you need to do it towards a high. Like now you've missed all your percentages. You don't gain anything long term from doing that.
Not the risk to reward ratio that you're looking at right now. And even if you look at the prices people are shouting for in terms of bottoming and where we could go, the risk to reward doesn't make sense to me right now. You've missed that boat sale a long time ago.
So you've either got to sell and leave the market forever, or hold.
That's it now.
Or have cash on the side ready to buy and hold what you position. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm only like, even if I do, I've got some cash coming in. But even then, I'll still be 95% exposed, 5% cash. But that's me personally, because I'm so bullish on the market in general. But like I'm just saying that even with the cash on the side, I'm still massively exposed because these prices are decent. I've been buying as soon as I get cash at the minute. It's just in for me. But yeah, and that's probably enough, is it?
That's a wrap. That is a wrap for week 9.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll be coming at you with some more juicy news in week 10. We'll have to see what this week holds for us. But again, another pretty jam-packed week in terms of news and XRP. Unfortunately, no jam-packed news and price actions. A bit boring to watch, I know. But sometimes the market goes through these phases. It has to go through these phases in order for it to move on and make the move, whether it's up or down.
Yep.
Who knows? But long term, we're bullish. Position yourself, guys. Stay safe up there.
Short term, don't be emotional about it. Like, it is draining. It's long to watch. I watch it all the time, every day, and it's crap. So we're all there in the same boat. But just think of the future, like potential gains that you can make from this asset class, and learn. Like this time's great to learn. Like there's loads of bullish news coming out all the time. So yeah, just keep your eyes on it.
Cool.
Peace up, A-Town down.
Peace up.